out of every 10 startups and SMEs will fail before the first 5 years of founding, right? And at the top of that, is access to funding, affordable funding. So there's access to funding, and then there's access to affordable funding. Because for most businesses, your margin may not be more than 20 to 30%, right? Your overall profit margin. So if you're already getting credit at 30%, which is the average of what we get in Nigeria, it means that you most likely will be using most of your profits to pay credit. However, there are so many funding opportunities that exist. But you as a small business, a lot of times in Nigeria, and let me give you background to the MSME. We have about 41 million MSMEs in Nigeria, and about 75% of them are micro businesses. Now, micro businesses means businesses that have less than 5 staff, make less than 25 million in the whole year, and a lot of times, in fact, about 80% of them, of those micro businesses, make less than 10 million, right? And they are not registered. They are either not registered, do not have bank accounts. And because of that, by design, they already exclude themselves from the few funding opportunities that exist. Because these funding opportunities would require you most times to have a bank account. They would require you to be registered. They would require you to have records. Now, if you're an MSME and you intend to scale, it is very important that you keep records. If you do not know anything about accounting and you cannot afford to hire an accountant, go on YouTube, go on Coursera, and take courses called Accounting for Non-Accounting Professionals or Finance for Non-Finance Professionals. You can take those courses for less than 3,000 naira, 2,000 naira. It would open your mind to how to manage your finance. There are other applications, right? There are so many invoicing and accounting basic apps that you can install on your phone, and for less than 500, 300, 1,000 a month, right, you can manage your small business's records. Now, if you register and you have those records and you brand yourself properly, you can then begin to apply for some of these grants that exist, grants and funding. And then, critically, more importantly, you have to then connect these things with what I said earlier, which is, now, different funding opportunities would have their characteristics, a characteristic of the type of organizations that they want to support. So you have to begin to craft your message, your value proposition as a business, in such a way that resonates with the funders, right?
Sorry, if you permit me, who are these funders?
Okay, so there are so many types of funders, right? You can go, of course, off the top of your head, normal commercial banks all have.
But commercial banks don't give us money.
No, yes,
they give to Dangote's kind of person.
Again, remember, it's bad enough that commercial banks don't want to give MSMEs.
Okay.
But it's worse because the ones that they are ready to give, and I don't want to give free publicity to, of course, I can mention some of my clients, the Keystones and the Fidelities and the likes. They have special packages for MSMEs.
Okay.
But the biggest disaster is that even those packages already exclude majority of the MSMEs by design.
Ayo, in your own words, just give me 2 parameters that one can use to define his or her growth in the SME. So, parameters for defining growth in the SME space. Because somehow we just grow and we don't even know how to measure our growth. And someone will say that growth for the sake of growth is the ideology of the cancer cell. And I agree with that. So for us not to have a cancerous growth, for us not to have a stunted growth, how can we measure our growth doing business?
Okay, so so I have a minute for that. So there's a difference between growth and scaling. So I think if you're a small business, what you should be thinking about is scaling.
Not growth.
Not growth.
What's the difference?
So the difference is that scaling means you are the same size, but you are expanding your operations. You are reaching more people, right? Growth means there's corresponding expansion. You are incurring more expenses for you to grow. So now you should be thinking about scaling so that you are not incurring additional money. You are not incurring additional cost. And the best way to do that is to leverage digital. But again, that's not here for now. So let me quickly go to what you're saying. So how can you measure that you're scaling?
Yeah.
customer acquisition, right?
Customer acquisition.
How many customers how are you growing your customer base? Revenue, right? How is your revenue growing?
Revenue generated.
Versus your industry average, right? Third is profit, right? So how is your profit going? Then there's profit to revenue margin.
Wow. That's good enough, sir. That's good enough. That's good. That's economics class already. Did you hear that?